I'm so tired and sick of all these politicians making all these lofty promises, people just falling for it. And it's just like, just chill out. Like, all I want you to do is make sure that there aren't like machete-wielding Islamists from the third world running rampant across the cities, protect the borders, and have a sensible economic policy. Like, that's literally it. Like, please just do that, and then we'll go from there. Until you do that, I don't want you. All right, breaking news from the UK. You've got to check this out. Just hours ago, Keir Starmer made a live address to the nation announcing his resignation as Prime Minister of the UK. I called this about 2 weeks ago and said this was going to happen. The final nail in the coffin has been the grooming gang inquiry, his history of looking the other way as the chief prosecutor in the court system in the UK, and then as Prime Minister, silencing so much of the grooming gang crimes, as well as a whole host of other issues, the mass migration. And so what's crazy is that the UK in 5 years is about to see its 5th different prime minister. The country is in absolute shambles. So we're going to watch this clip. I've never seen this before. This has just come out. We're going to get my live reaction. We're going to talk about it. And we're going to see whether he takes any accountability for what went wrong during his leadership. Let's go.
Thank you. Thank you. Walking up this street 2 years ago was the proudest moment of my life. A new Labour government, the first in 14 years. A page in our country's history turned after years of disappointment and despair. The chance to change the lives of millions of people for the better. That's what I came into politics for. The journey to that point was not easy. 6 years ago, I inherited a Labour Party that was politically, financially, and morally bankrupt. I was told time and time again that my party was finished, that we were consigned to history, that a majority at the general election, let alone a landslide majority, was impossible. But we proved those people wrong because we changed our party, ripping out the poison of anti-Semitism, restoring trust on the economy, defence and national security, and becoming a party that once again stood proudly with, not against, our national flag.
What did he just say? They stood with the national flag? I'm sorry, like what is he talking about? All we've had over the last 6 months to a year is people in defiance raising the British flag because the British government and political establishment have been basically just destroying the country, calling anyone who raises that flag a racist, anyone who's raising that flag in these towns either being arrested or accused of being far right. This is utterly just coping and doing some damage control on that. As for uprooting the poison of anti-Semitism, no, we've seen the worst anti-Semitism ever in basically all of British history under Keir Starmer. And as well as that, we've imported the most Jewish-hating people in the world, which is the Islamic population. We have not done anything to stop the boats. What is he talking about? Right. And just while we're on this point, who would have thought that 80 years on from World War II, after spending decades upon decades teaching children in school about anti-Semitism and World War II and the concentration camps, only to allow in people from the absolute desert regions of the world whose entire doctrine is basically hating the Jews and blaming the Jews for everything, into Europe and thinking nothing's going to go wrong? I mean, this is the most stupid thing ever. And so, yeah, I have no idea what he's talking about there.
Hard work of change was with a singular purpose, not power for power's sake, but to change Britain for the better, to build a fairer country with dignity and respect, where everyone is seen, everyone is valued, wealth and opportunity for all, not just the privileged few.
Again, Keir Starmer has the nickname two-tier Keir for a reason, right? We've seen two-tier policing. We have not seen equality for all. We have seen privilege for these newly arrived migrants into the country, where something like 40% of all new homes had been promised to new migrants who arrived in the country. A ridiculous percentage of jobs are going to these newly arrived migrants, not to the native British population. We've seen Keir Starmer consistently cover up the sexual exploitation of young girls, either in the recent grooming gang stuff or during his time on the Jimmy Savile case, I believe. Okay. This has been the exact opposite. I want to see a politician take charge of the UK that's not going to say, right, we're going to change the UK and make it better. Like, I don't want change. Like, please, it was better years ago. Can we just stop changing things? Can we just preserve things? Can we just preserve? We need Rupert Lowe. You know, we need Rupert Lowe to run the country. He's the best shot I think we've got right now. I'm so tired and sick of all these politicians making all these lofty promises, people just falling for it. And it's just just chill out. Like, all I want you to do is make sure that there aren't machete-wielding Islamists from the third world running rampant across the cities, protect the borders, and have a sensible economic policy. Like, that's literally it. Like, please just do that, and then we'll go from there. Until you do that, I don't want you. Like, cover the basics, you know? Anyway.
And look at what we've achieved in just 2 years. An economy that is stronger, growing faster than our peers. Wages rising faster than inflation in every single month since we came to power. Investment secured, infrastructure being built. An end to austerity, with the fastest fall in NHS waiting lists for 17 years. The biggest improvement in rights for workers and renters in a generation. The biggest uplift in defence spending since the Cold War. Small boat crossings falling. Asylum hotels closing. Protecting young people from social media. And 500,000 children being lifted out of poverty because of the choices that I made.
Let's pause it. I'm not going to comment on some of the economy stuff and the NHS waiting lists. I don't live in the UK anymore, so I can't comment on my own anecdotal experiences. But I just want to point out how amazing it is that you have a Labour government politician, Prime Minister no less, addressing finally the boat crossings. This would have been just completely off the table a few years ago. And it's, I think, thanks to the work of Tommy Robinson, Rupert Lowe, and Elon Musk, actually, and the social media creators online who are actually talking about this, that has really elevated this issue to the forefront. And so I got to say, it's good to hear this. However, whether he'd done enough, I just think it's utterly ridiculous that he's taking a lot of credit here. I think anything short of just completely putting the British Navy in the UK Channel and then deporting masses of at least just deport the 40,000 Islamic terrorists. At least just get rid of that and put the border enforcement there. That's the bare minimum. Surely that's one of the easiest things in the world to do. You know, when it comes to the mass deportations of other people, that's complicated. But at least get rid of all the people on the terror watch list, right? Send them back to Pakistan. Enforce the border and go from there. Other than that, I don't want to hear you take credit for anything.
Our reputation in the world restored.
Now that's definitely not true. That's definitely not true. I got so many friends in America who, during the time of Keir Starmer, have gone, whoa, what has happened to the UK? I've got friends that never want to go to the UK again. Wealthy people that would either do business in the UK, travel to the UK, go on holiday in the UK. They don't want to go anywhere near half of Europe, especially the UK, during this time. So I don't know where he's getting this idea that the reputation. Keir Starmer has, unfortunately, for the UK, been an absolute laughingstock on the global stage. That whole debacle with not allowing the United States to use the military base or something. This is just, it's not a good look for the UK on the international stage. I just don't know where he's getting this from.
With Britain once again standing up for decency, respect, and the rule of law, securing trade deals, standing with Ukraine, standing up for our values, and rebuilding our relationship with our allies in Europe. Change promised by a Labour government, change fought for by a Labour government, change delivered by a Labour government. But I know the question being asked now is not who was best placed to change the Labour Party, to take us into power and to begin the vital work of improving lives for millions of people. Those questions have been answered. The question my party is asking now is whether I am best placed to lead us into the next general election.
Don't question the party. The party's good. It's just whether I'm the right member of the party. No, the British people actually did not. I mean, there was some weird counting of like the votes. I don't know how it all works in the UK, but basically the overall kind of popularity of the Labour Party is actually not as strong as he's portraying it here. And what we're seeing is the rise of the Reform Party and the Restore Britain Party, and those kinds of parties. Because I think most people have really given up on the Labour Party and really given up on the Conservatives. So again, I think this is just absolute cope and reverse, damage control.
I have heard the answer of my parliamentary party to that question, and I accept that answer with good grace. Every decision I've taken has been about putting the country I love first. That is why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party. I have spoken to His Majesty the King this morning to inform him of my decision. I will ask the National Executive Committee of the Labour Party to set out a timetable with nominations opening on the 9th of July and completed by the summer recess. In the case of a contest, this will ensure a new leader is in place before Parliament returns in September. I will remain in post as Prime Minister until the contest is complete, and I will do everything I can to ensure an orderly handover of power. I will also give my successor my full and unequivocal support, knowing that they will inherit a Britain that is far stronger and fairer than the one I inherited 2 years ago, better prepared for the challenges ahead, and better able to ensure the Labour Party secures a second term in office. I want to thank all of those friends and colleagues who have been at my side for these past 6 years or so, for their incredible commitment, service and support. I want to thank the brilliant Number 10 staff and our country's extraordinary civil service.
Okay, this is just a lot of waffle now. Like, I was really hoping there'd be a lot more to this.
And when I leave the biggest job in the country, I shall spend more time on the most important job, being the best husband I can to my fantastic wife, Vic, who has been a rock by my side through good times and bad, and being the best dad I can to my beautiful children, who are my pride and my joy. Thank you very much.
There we go. Emotional ending to that speech from Keir Starmer. Yeah. All right, there we have it. I think it was a very anticlimactic, very damage control-esque resignation speech. There was a few hints at some things going on there when it came to the boat crossings and a few other things which I'm not used to hearing from Keir Starmer. And I actually think that there's been so much mounting pressure in the UK, thanks to Tommy Robinson, thanks to Rupert Lowe, thanks to Elon Musk, thanks to the large amount of people who are making content online talking about the downfall of the UK, people showing you how the UK is not the great country it used to be. And all this flouncing around talking about how strong the UK is. I really think it's political posturing. I think it's a last-ditch attempt to try and save his reputation, to save face, to leave the Labour Party in a hopefully better reputational position had he just got up and actually said what on earth had really been going on. And, you know, I just think it was just a lot of damage control, to be honest. Really, I think the nail in the coffin of his resignation was probably the grooming gang inquiry that the Restore Britain party put out just a couple of days ago, as well as a few other things. I mentioned it in a previous video that I believe he was going to resign any day now, and here he is. The writing has been on the wall for a while, but I really think that it has come down to this issue of the grooming gangs and his past involvement in the cover-up and protection of Jimmy Savile. So, look, the UK is in absolute shambles. If I was Xi Jinping from the Chinese Communist Party, if I was the Ayatollah of Iran, if I was the Emir, the royal family of Qatar, I would actually be loving this. I think this is an absolute joke. Western countries are incredibly weak, run by socialists and overrun by Islamists. And to be honest, this is just, you know, on the global stage, an embarrassment that the UK has had now 5 different prime ministers in just the space of 5 years. And yet the UK, which parades itself as being an absolute bastion of democracy, right? The founder of parliamentary democracy and government, is now making more arrests for thought crimes and online speech policing than Russia is. Like, who would have ever predicted this? The UK is seriously a joke right now. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Give this video a thumbs up, hype it, subscribe if you haven't already, check out the merch link, and I'll speak to you in the next one. God bless.